So this creek is so steep until there is a sign. There, never mind. There's a deer up here. Let's see how close we can get to this deer. So here's how you get to this creek. It says foot and horse travel permitted, but no cars. But I don't think you could ride a horse back here. It's pretty goddamn thick. Wookie. On the rooster tail. Nice little trout. On the release. Probably check the recording still. Yep. Nice rookie wookie. I really don't need to keep any. The guy's just a football too. Holy shit, this is a monster. That is a beaut. That must be 14. That is a Panther Martin. So here's a video of me fishing this new creek I found that has some quality brook trout in it, and it's in the middle of nowhere. So to start the story of how I found this creek is, so I was camping the day before. I got up and I saw on my phone it was supposed to rain in like an hour and a half. So I took my boat over to the boat landing and loaded my boat up in the vehicle and decided I was going to drive around because I was just camping in a little tiny tent and I didn't want to be in the middle of the campground when a severe thunderstorm was coming through. So I started driving into the closest town, and all of a sudden it started torrentially downpouring where I could only drive like 20 to 30 miles an hour, and sticks from trees were flying onto the road. So then I drove into the local town, and the local town is a typical Wisconsin town. It has like 10 people and 3 bars, and none of the bars were open at 11 a.m. on a Monday morning. So then I just sat there for a minute and talked to some people who were driving a motorcycle to the area, and then I decided that I'm going to drive west because after about a half hour west there was no storms. So I started venturing west, and I looked where there was a trout stream, and then I decided this other spot I wanted to check out to fish where there was a dam, actually a couple spots, and I wasn't videotaping this day because it was kind of rainy and wet out. But anyways, I caught a walleye this day, and I found a Mepps muskie killer and a phantom softtail by this one little dam, and the walleye caught was like 16 inches. Then I fished this other dam, and I caught a smallmouth and a rock bass, and I hooked into like a 3-foot muskie on my ultralight, which I lost. Again, losing a muskie on my ultralight, that's not a good thing. I need to fix that. It only has 6-pound line, and I'm just fishing for 8 or 10-inch bass or bluegills or whatever bites. I was just fishing with a worm when I hooked into it. And then I had a muskie follow there, and then I decided to go to this creek, and I turned on this road to drive back to the creek, and the road is like 8 feet wide or 10 feet wide. It's a super narrow Forest Service road that's all beat up because they did a timber sale back in this area. And I start driving back it, and I drive back on it for like 15 minutes at like 10 miles an hour, and I see there's this white truck following me. So I get to this first bridge where it crosses the creek, and I go to fish, and all of a sudden this white truck comes up and turns around by me. And it was the forest ranger, and he asked if I had seen anyone littering back here because I had a report of someone littering back here. So I fished this first spot, and all I caught was about a 20-inch white sucker on a worm, and I didn't have any hits on a spinner in about a half hour fishing, and it was pouring rain, so I didn't videotape any of that action. I really should have had the confrontation with the forest ranger. That would have made this an excellent video. And then later that day, then I decided to drive farther down the road, and the road actually ended before the next bridge, like a couple hundred yards. So I parked there and walked back to the creek, and I just started drifting worms, and like immediately I caught like 3 like 10 to 12-inch brookies and I waded upstream a little ways, and I think I caught probably like 4 or 5 brookies on a spinner, and I caught like a half a dozen brookies and a sucker on just drifting a worm. And the biggest brookie was like 13, and I lost a bunch of really nice brookies that were like 12 to 14 inches. So then I decided to venture back this next day, and the fishing was slow, and I for some reason forgot the worms in my vehicle. So I probably would have caught more brookies during this video if I would have had worms, but I didn't have worms on me because they were just crushing the worms the day before. And I actually quit fishing with worms so I could catch more of them because they were swallowing the hookless worms. So then I went back to the one other spot where I was muskie fishing. I cast offshore, and I caught a muskie on a Rapala, and then I hooked myself, and I wasn't videotaping during that also. So the day before this was a very interesting day, and I unfortunately don't have any video of what happened. I'm just telling the story.
Anyways, I found an excellent brookie creek. I'm definitely going back to this brookie creek when I go up to this area again. And this is a fun adventure. And I had a lot of fun. So I have 2 more videos from my up north trip. And then since my back has been healing, I've went out trout fishing a few times. So I'll have some more trout fishing videos. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you listened this far along and listened to my silly story and laughed at my story, because it was an interesting adventure. Thanks everyone for watching.